everybody, good afternoon. Today we're going to make some Portuguese rice. It's very easy to make. Some people are very intimidated by this rice, but don't be. This is a foolproof, easy way. Alright, the first thing we're going to do, okay, we're going to heat up our pan. It's going to be on medium. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to let that heat up. If you don't want to use olive oil, you can also use a couple tablespoons of butter or margarine. But I like olive oil. It gives it a nice nutty flavor. Okay, so now it's going to heat up. We're going to add maybe 1 small diced onion. If you don't have a small onion, you can use maybe half of a medium onion. Is fine too. Okay, so heat up. That onion's going to brown a little bit, get translucent. Put my heat on high so the onion can cook a little quicker. Most recipes in Portuguese cooking use sauteed onions and garlic too. There, it's getting there. It's going to get a little golden brown, translucent. A couple minutes should do the trick. Okay, what I'm using today is we're using whole grain rice. I like to use whole grain rice because I like a nice firm rice. I don't like rice that's too soggy. So this is the rice I'm going to use, okay? And so that's it. And then I'm going to use maybe a teaspoon of paprika for color. And I'm going to use some chicken bouillon. If you don't have bouillon, you can use a half a cup of chicken broth. That works too. Okay, that's getting there. So the next thing we're going to do, see it's getting nice and brown? Okay. So now we're going to add the rice. I like to always brown up my rice a little bit because it gives it a nice firm texture. And then see that? It's almost like a rice pilaf. And by browning it, what happens is it absorbs the olive oil too. It gets that nice flavor. The onions, the olive oil. Look at that. Perfect. All right. So this is probably going to take maybe a minute or two. It's smelling wonderful already. Okay, so that's browning nicely. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon of paprika. That's going to give it a beautiful golden color. So let that paprika brown a little bit too. Can you see the grains are nice and firm? They have a beautiful color. Okay. It smells wonderful. Look at that. It's perfect. Alright, so now we're going to add 2 cups of hot water, boiling water. When you cook rice, it's always 1 part rice and 2 parts water. Okay, so sorry, this is 4 cups of water. Okay, so 4 cups of water. Stir it a little bit. I'm going to add my chicken bouillon. At this point, you can also add a little chicken broth. Just reduce the boiling water by a half a cup. So this is going to come to a boil. I also need some salt. So I generally use maybe 1 teaspoon per cup of rice. So this is going to take nice couple of teaspoons. You can also add more salt if needed. Now if you don't want to use salt, that's up to you. So I'm going to let this come to a boil. And what you want to do with rice is you don't want to over stir it. You want to stir it once or twice and that's it. So I've given it a good stir. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the heat to medium. I'm going to cover it. There we go. Alright, so I'm not going to stir it or come back for another 15 minutes. Alright, that's the secret. If you keep stirring it, the rice is going to get mushy. So All right, so I'll see you in 15 minutes. Hi everybody. Okay, we're back. It's been 15 minutes. There it goes. Oh, look, perfect. It's bubbling away. This is just about ready. Grains are nice and firm. Now if you like a rice that's softer, just let it cook a little longer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the heat completely, because the heat is going to keep cooking this rice. Now, this is optional. I like peas in my rice, so I add maybe a half to 1 cup of peas. But if you don't like peas, you don't have to add it. Okay, so you're going to give this a little stir. Make sure the peas are incorporated. Okay, now I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to put the cover back on. And I like a dry rice, so I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to let it sit for maybe another 5, maybe 10 minutes. It's optional, up to you. And if you just like it as is, just remove it completely from the stove. It's going to continue cooking, so remember that, because the pan is very hot. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to take the lid off. See how it absorbed? It's dry now. It's nice and fluffy. It's not mushy. So now we're going to taste it. So those peas cook just but with the steam. They're going to cook, so they're nice and cooked. So now we're going to taste it. Okay, everybody. It smells delicious.
Okay.
Enjoy.